This Speedway Motors Signature Series 32 Roadster was originally put together by Street Rodder magazine clear back in 2007 with a mild small block, full hood, and radial white walls. Years later, when we were preparing for the 50th anniversary of the Street Rod Nationals, we thought what better way to get there than to road trip in a 32 Roadster. So we got busy freshening up the old Street Rodder 32 with some old school details inspired by great hot rods from history like the McMullen Roadster. But it couldn't just look the part. This car would have to cover over 700 miles from Lincoln to Louisville to make the show. The car didn't need a complete rebuild, so instead we bolted up some fin Buick drums, 5-spoke mags, and added a 471 blown 383 to make this car look like it rolled right off the pages of an early 60s hot rod magazine. This new product that we have here, I think is going to look a heck of a lot cooler. You want to tell us about it, Josh?
Yeah, certainly kind of give it some old school cool here. So we've got some of our new components for this season. This early Ford brake drum that's styled like a 45 fin Buick drum. It's got all the right dimensions to work with our early Ford components, as we'll notice as we put it together. And then our normal flat top Ford spindle to go right with our early Ford self-energizing backing plates. So kind of dress it up that old school look, right? Mm-hmm.
Street Rodder built this car in the first place. We sent them the car without the engine and transmission, sort of as they come, and they put an engine in it. They put turbo 350 in it, and they did all that, and they wrote about it, and it was even on the cover of the magazine in like 2007, and that was this very car.
It's been kind of the road warrior to tour the world in the show rigs.
It's been to a lot of shows, that's for sure. But I don't know that it's gotten a lot of road trip time, so we're gonna try to fix that.
Yeah. These cars started out as Bill's favorite 32 that he had, and it had to get diced up and used to make body stampings and whatnot.
I always heard that this was sort of his version of what a 32 Ford should be, you know, the 50
right.
Pontiac tail lights and the red paint and all the chrome and the 40 dash. You know, this was if he was gonna build a 32 Roadster, this is what he would build. What do you think of the chrome backing plates, Josh?
They're pretty beautiful. They really match with our chrome axle and shocks here and everything, and our aluminum fin drums. It's really a pretty sweet package altogether. I'm glad we took the time to take them apart and send them in.
Yeah, I mean, these are just the ones that we sell just raw, but I thought for this car with all the chrome that's on it, you know, it would be good to have them chrome. So we sent them out. These are the Bendix-style backing plates that we sell that require that the flat be ground in the spindle. And so it's nice. The other nice thing is that now we sell that spindle that has the flat in it so that you don't have to do all the grinding or chuck it up in a mill or do whatever people have been doing for years to use this 37 to 41 spindle with a Bendix backing plate.
Yeah, and you don't end up holding your tongue half out and squinting one eye trying to grind the top of the spindle down to the right amount and checking it 20 times. You know this is already done in a
you know it's
a
right.
nice mill and has the right amount taken off.
Okay, are you ready to put the hubs on? No.
I just got the wrenches. You had the wrenches the whole time. If you want me to just say it, I'm gonna say it. Just like that, we had brakes.
Hubs next. We've already assembled these, packed the bearings, installed the seals. So these are pretty well just ready to slide on. These are our reproduction 40 Ford style hubs, which will fit right over the spindle and will fit right inside our Buick drums. All right, the big moment is here. Pretty excited. Oh man, that looks great.
Nice.
Are you happy?
Oh yeah. That took a lot of time to get to that. A lot of time planning on making these.
For the time being, since we changed the bolt pattern on the front to a 5-on-5.5 early Ford bolt pattern, we just pulled these reproduction 5-on-5.5 wheels that we sell. It's just like a clone of a 40 Ford wheel, and mounted some 450 16 bias plies on them.
That's what it's all about right there. That's what all that whole fuss about getting these fin Buick looking drums on here is that reveal of getting to see those fins on the inside of the wheel when that's not covered up by a fender.
Those are the brakes that belong on this car.
Yeah, it totally changes the attitude of the car.
A fenderless car, this is all hanging out in the breeze, so it's kind of got to be pretty. We're here with Zach Woods. He runs the engine shop over here, and he's going to put this together for us. You want to talk to us about what we did to get this ready to go?
Yeah, we took the block and we honed it, give the new ring something to seat into. We pin fit the new pistons and resized the rods to have the appropriate bearing clearance. And then we took the old crank and we balanced it to the new rods and pistons. And we assembly washed it and we're ready to go.
All right, we're here in the dyno cell. We have our 383 moved in here. We changed the valve covers because we didn't have any baffles on the other ones. We were worried about it pushing oil out. What else did we do?
We did some changes, some mods to the carburetor. We boost referenced the power valve, which requires plugging the original power valve, vacuum source, drilling a hole in the side of the main body, making a new port. All that said and done, I think everything's ready to go. See what kind of power it makes.
Ooh, yeah. That sounded real happy.
Sounded like it did.
Yeah, 520.
515 foot-pounds of torque.
At 45. Do we need to rethink that torque converter?
I'm really surprised it makes 10 pounds of boost with that blower. That impresses me a lot.
We tried hard to make this look like an early to mid 60s, era-specific engine, but these are all brand new parts.
Finding a lot of these parts had for years become very difficult. So we managed to put together a really good era-correct looking package with parts right off the shelf.
The 471 blower, when I look at that, I think of the 60s. But you might ask, why not a 671? This fits a little bit better. This has a 2-inch Gilmer drive.
And this doesn't have to be underdriven the way that a 671 would on the street. You can run these 1-to-1, you can overdrive it. 671 builds a lot more heat, the rotors are longer, everything, there's more friction involved. This is just a lot more reliable package.
There we go, I'm there. Okay. Putting a bracket on to mount our power gen. So rather than put an alternator on here to make this look like a 60s hot rod, we're gonna put a PowerMaster power gen, which looks like a generator, but it's actually an alternator. It does kind of look like an old GM generator, but it's got alternator, one-wire alternator guts in it. When you run a hot rod like this without a hood, every detail kind of makes a difference.
Cool.
You ever used one of those MSD starters, Jeff?
I haven't.
It's what we've used on all the race cars, and we have really good luck with them.
It looks like a pretty nice unit.
Use the swiveling neck thermostat to give us a little more latitude when we're ready to do the upper radiator hose.
And it is funny to watch somebody try to turn one of those around under the car. But
Yeah, you weren't back here at 6 o'clock this morning watching me do it.
this is the new GT Performance steering wheel that we're going to use in the 32. Fits the flavor of the car a whole lot better than the LaCara 40 Ford wheel did. This is a 4-spoke bell style, which is very similar to what was used in a lot of vintage race cars. Chrome center. It's a nice looking wheel. I've got to get our adapter on here first. It takes a standard 3-bolt style adapter and horn and setup.
There's nothing wrong with the 40 wheel. In fact, I think a 40 is my favorite hot rod steering wheel ever, but
Yeah.
it's more of a 40s, early 50s kind of deal. But for the hot rod dry lakes and drag strips look, there's nothing like a Bell 4-spoke.
That's not going anywhere.
This expansion tank on it, we're actually going to be driving the thing. We don't want it yakking water all over everywhere. It's going to be a little tricky getting the nut on here. I'll get it.
Okay.
It's one of my superpowers. To finish this out, we're changing the wheels and tires. These are ET 15x4 fronts, and these are Coker American Classic radial tires that look like old bias plies. So, you know, we won't be going 700 miles wrestling with bias plies, but it's got the look. And then in the rear, we've got some torque thrusts, American torque thrusts with the same tires, only in an 820/15. So we offer this stagger. This is basically the smallest you can get and the biggest you can get in the back. These are 7s on the rear and 4s in the front. And it seems about right with the section of the tire.
Yeah, it makes a really good section profile with that width of wheel and keeps that really true 60s flair to it.
Should we put it down?
Sure.
That is killer.
5 pounds. Want to come up to 6.5 or so?
Yeah. Yeah, that's 6.
Sweet.
It lives. Well, we're here with our 32. We've shaken it down a little bit, gets ready to hit the road. We leave tomorrow morning for Louisville, and you know, I'm pretty excited about it. This is driving a blown 32 Roadster to the 50th Street Rod Nationals. I mean, that's like a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
A lot of history with the 50th anniversary of the Street Rod Nationals, and there's a lot of history with this Steel 32 at Speedway.
Right.
So, kind of an iconic car for Speedway, and taking it to the iconic event.
Josh, you and I did the tour last year in Project Chevelle. I suspect that's probably a different experience than we're going to have this year.
It's going to be a pretty cool experience. I'm excited. I've never even really driven many old Fords other than just around the parking lot here, some trade show stuff. So the 32 is so iconic. It's going to be a pretty cool trip.
Well, we made it to Kansas City. Everything went great. We're here at Pete and Jake's right now. Car ran good, no issues at all. Josh, what do you think?
Had fun, had a blast in the Roadster all day, just rolling around in the sun. So things running great.
There was a lot of sun, but really the car ran great.
Yeah.
Dave, you were behind us. What do you think?
Looked good.
You didn't see any
all
parts
day long.
fall off?
Sounded good, looked good.
It's my first leg of it, and it's been fun. Car's handling well, sounds good, running nice and cool, so it's a great day.
It sounds cool from inside the truck. When you drive past, the exhaust and the blowers like simultaneously, it sounds so cool. Well, it's morning in St. Charles, which is just outside of St. Louis. We made it here last night. So far, good weather, everything's going great, car's running good. I think she's ready to go for the last day. Today we push all the way through to Louisville. Well, we made it. The car ran great. Everything went perfectly. We didn't add a drop of fluid or turn a wrench on the car the whole trip. Just had fun driving it. We've got the car set up in the booth here, got all the bugs wiped off of it, got all the oil wiped off of the firewall, and really we're just thrilled to be here. 50th anniversary of the show. We drove a 500 horsepower 32 Roadster here. Once in a lifetime opportunity, and we couldn't be happier.